Before you lift your foot, before you decide which way the road will bend for you, pause. There is something you must hear. You believe you are free to choose your next step as though it were a small matter, as though it will vanish in the dust behind you. But it is not so. Every step is a seed. It falls into the ground of your life and grows, sometimes into fruit, sometimes into thorns. To walk blindly, without reflection, is to sow weeds in your own soul. Consider how easily we trick ourselves. We tell ourselves that just one more step in a careless direction will not matter. Just one more compromise, just one more delay, just one more indulgence in what is easy instead of what is right. But life is built out of just one more. It is the quiet repetition of steps unnoticed in the moment that forms the roads we cannot later escape. A man does not wake up in ruin all at once. He arrives there by walking steadily down a path he told himself was harmless. So, hear this before you take another step. Your soul is at stake in the ordinary. Holiness or ruin rarely announces itself with trumpets. It whispers in the silence of your heart as you choose how to speak, how to act, how to think when no one is looking. Every step is shaping you into something, either a creature of light who can stand joyfully in the presence of truth, or a shadow who shrinks away from it. And remember this, each step also brings you closer to someone. You cannot take a step without moving either toward the one who made you or away from him. There is no standing still, no neutral ground where you may linger as long as you like. To say, "I will not choose today," is itself a choice, and it sets your feet in motion whether you will admit it or not. Therefore, before you take another step, ask yourself, what am I becoming? Am I walking toward truth or away from it? Am I allowing love to guide my steps, or am I content to drift wherever my desires pull me? The ground beneath you is not ordinary, it is eternal. The weight of your footsteps echoes in forever. So do not walk as though your choices are small. Walk as though you are carrying treasure, for you are. Your soul is more precious than the kingdoms of this world, and the one who gave it to you waits to see what you will make of it. Every step is a confession of who you are and whose you are. Take it with trembling, take it with courage, but above all, take it with the knowledge that you are walking either toward life or away from it. Every step is a seed that shapes your future. Fruit or thorns grow from it. Every step is a seed, though we seldom think of it that way. We imagine that steps are nothing more than motions, small and forgettable choices that will be buried in the passing of days. But in reality, every movement of the will falls like a seed into the soil of our character. What grows out of it may be slow, hidden from sight, unnoticed by others, but eventually it will bear fruit, and the fruit will reveal what kind of seed was sown. A harsh word spoken in haste seems like nothing at the moment, but it settles into the heart of the one who heard it and into your own heart as well. A small act of kindness, given when no one was watching, can seem insignificant, yet it strengthens the roots of compassion inside you. Every step carries this quiet power, and yet we move as though we are scattering nothing at all. It is a dangerous mistake to think that only great actions shape destiny. The truth is that it is the smallest seeds that multiply most. The path you take in one small decision, the thought you allow to linger in your mind, the compromise you make when it seems harmless, all these are seeds falling into the ground of your life. They do not vanish when the moment passes. They grow, they entangle, they spread until they define who you are becoming. A tree is not planted fully grown. It begins with something too small to notice, and so it is with the soul. The kind of seeds you sow with each step will one day rise up around you, either as a garden of peace or a thicket of regret. Think of the farmer who walks across his field. He does not see an empty space. He sees harvests waiting to happen, though they are invisible at first. When he scatters wheat, he knows wheat will rise. When he scatters thorns, he knows thorns will choke the ground. He does not pretend that the seed is meaningless. And yet how often do we walk through life as if the soil of our choices were barren, as if nothing will ever grow from the moments we spend in anger, lust, greed, or neglect, but the soil is never barren. It takes what you give it and multiplies it quietly, relentlessly, until you are surrounded by the growth of your own planting. The frightening part is that you do not choose whether the seed grows. You only choose which seed you sow. Growth is inevitable. The habits you practice are seeds. The conversations you engage in are seeds. The way you treat others in their weakness is a seed. Even the thoughts you harbor when you are alone are seeds, falling one after another, shaping the unseen garden of your soul. And though others may not yet see it, you cannot escape the harvest of what you plant. Fruit or thorns, blessing or bitterness, joy or sorrow. It will rise in time from the steps you are taking now. Ruin comes quietly through just one more careless choice. Ruin does not arrive like a storm that suddenly crashes down upon your life. It creeps in quietly, disguised in the comfort of small compromises. We are often deceived into believing that one more careless step will not matter, that one more indulgence in weakness will go unnoticed, that one more delay in doing what is right will not alter the course of our soul. Yet history is not written in grand moments alone. It is built on the repetition of tiny choices that seem harmless when taken in isolation. Just one more is the whisper that has led countless lives into destruction, because it never appears heavy in the moment. It dresses itself as something light, something temporary, something easily undone, and so we walk with it as though it were our friend. But every just one more is a thread woven into the fabric of our destiny, and once woven, it cannot be removed without leaving its mark. It is the slow drift, not the sudden fall, that most often leads a man into ruin. A ship does not sink the moment it veers 1 degree off course, but given enough time, that single degree will carry it far from safe shores. The same is true of the soul. One more step in bitterness, one more surrender to envy, one more refusal to forgive seems so slight, yet each is a degree off course. Walk far enough with them, and you will find yourself lost in waters you never meant to sail. The tragedy is that when the destination appears, we often act surprised, as though ruin had appeared overnight, when in truth it had been invited in long ago through 1,000 small doors left open. There is a subtle danger in believing that consequences are reserved only for the dramatic sins, the grand betrayals, the loud and obvious acts of evil. But character is not destroyed in explosions, it erodes in silence. A careless lie told to avoid discomfort, a selfish choice made because it was easier than sacrifice, a habit of putting off what conscience demands. These are the termites that hollow out the beams of a house while its walls still appear solid. By the time collapse comes, it feels sudden, but in reality it was inevitable, built step by countless moments of neglect. Ruin does not need to shout. It only needs us to ignore the whisper of conscience day after day. And yet there is something deeply sobering in realizing how quietly this pattern works. For it means that even now, while a person may appear upright, their path may already be bending toward destruction, disguised beneath the ordinary. The thought, "it is only one more time," becomes the chain that binds them. One more step into anger, one more look of contempt, one more refusal to change. The chain grows link by link, unnoticed, until it cannot be broken by human strength. To believe that ruin will not come from just one more is to forget that the road is made entirely of steps, and every step, however small, is leading somewhere that cannot be escaped. Once the destination arrives, holiness or ruin is decided in the ordinary, hidden moments of life. Holiness or ruin is not decided in the noise of the grand stage, but in the quiet of the ordinary. It is not the great battles alone that shape the destiny of the soul, but the unseen skirmishes fought when no one else is watching. People often wait for a dramatic moment, some great test, believing that only then will their true nature be revealed. Yet by the time such a test arrives, the answer has already been decided. It was formed long before in the hidden corners of life, through the habits of thought, the posture of the heart, the secret choices repeated day after day. The small decisions we make, when we think no one notices, are not small at all. They are the forge where the metal of character is either strengthened or weakened. A person who ignores the call to truth in the daily moments cannot suddenly stand in courage when the weight of truth bears down publicly. The one who gives in quietly to selfishness in the small matters cannot suddenly expect to embody selflessness in a great crisis. Holiness is built in the silence when you choose honesty over convenience, purity over indulgence, forgiveness over resentment. Ruin is also built in the silence when you let bitterness settle in, when you permit deception to dwell in your words, when you nurture secret sins as though they were harmless companions. The great battles of life only expose what has already been cultivated in the soil of the ordinary. There is a deceptive comfort in thinking that ordinary choices do not matter. A careless thought here, a cruel remark there, a small indulgence in envy or pride, all seem too minor to alter the direction of the soul, but the truth is that the ordinary moments are never neutral. Each one bends the heart either toward light or toward darkness. Each one trains the soul to recognize truth or to ignore it. Each one strengthens your ability to resist temptation or erodes it. The weight of your life does not fall suddenly in a single moment. It accumulates like grains of sand, each choice a grain, until the scale tips with the weight of what you have practiced over years. It is often in the smallest details that eternity is shaped. How you treat the stranger who cannot repay you, how you respond when anger whispers to lash out, how you speak when gossip offers you a seat at its table, these moments form the unseen architecture of your soul. You may not be noticed by others in these decisions, but they are never unnoticed. They are recorded in the fibers of your being, silently forming the person you are becoming. To neglect them is to neglect the very foundation of your destiny. To take them seriously is to understand that holiness or ruin is decided long before the crowd is watching, long before the crisis demands a choice, long before you imagine your step is heavy enough to matter. Each step moves you closer either to truth or away from it. There is no neutral ground. Each step moves you closer either to truth or away from it, and there is no neutral ground. Life does not allow you to stand still, no matter how much you may wish it. Time itself carries you forward, and every choice, every thought, every action directs your path one way or the other. It is a mistake to believe that you can pause in some safe middle, undecided and untouched, as though refusing to choose were a shield. To delay is already to choose. To ignore is already to move. The soul is not stationary. It is always inclining, leaning toward one destiny or the other. Pulled by the weight of what you love most, neutrality, is the illusion that traps many lives. A person convinces themselves that they will wait, that they will decide later, that they will keep one foot in the light and one in the shadow until they feel ready, but the heart cannot remain divided forever. To postpone obedience is to walk into disobedience. To delay truth is to let lies take root. To say "not now" is to say "I choose another way," even if the words are never spoken aloud. The path does not wait for you while you hesitate. It carries you onward, silently shaping your end through the direction you have already chosen by refusing to step where you should. Every step carries you closer to someone. With each moment, you are drawing nearer to the one who made you or drifting farther from him. You are not a wanderer without a destination, even if you feel lost. You are a soul in motion, and the road beneath you is leading either toward light or into shadow. When you speak with love, when you humble yourself, when you forgive, you are stepping closer to truth. When you harbor envy, when you feed pride, when you choose selfishness, you are stepping away. The heart grows accustomed to the direction it walks, until it no longer notices how far it has traveled. This truth explains why so many wake up one day and wonder how they ended up where they are. They imagine it happened all at once, in a single decision, in a sudden moment. But in reality, it was the long walk of countless unnoticed steps. Each compromise, each delay, each surrender to ease instead of courage slowly carried them farther and farther until the distance became too great to ignore. To believe you can walk without moving closer or farther from truth is to believe in an impossible path. You are always advancing towards something, even when you think you are standing still. The road beneath your feet does not pause. It only asks which direction you will walk. Your soul is the treasure at stake in every decision you make. Your soul is the treasure at stake in every decision you make. and nothing you hold in this world compares to its worth. Gold can be stolen, power can be stripped away, beauty fades, and reputation crumbles, but the soul endures beyond time, carrying the imprint of every choice into eternity. To treat it lightly is to gamble with what can never be replaced. Each decision you make, whether whispered in the silence of your thoughts or shouted in the arena of public life, is a declaration of what value you place upon this treasure. When you choose truth, you are guarding it. When you choose falsehood, you are wounding it. When you choose love, you are polishing it. When you choose hatred, you are staining it. There is no decision too small to leave its mark on the eternal. The tragedy is that so many trade their souls for things that will not last. Some exchange it for comfort, seeking ease instead of discipline, and discover too late that they have weakened the very core of their being. Others exchange it for pride, choosing the fleeting applause of men rather than the quiet approval of truth, and find themselves empty when the applause falls silent. Still, others surrender it to desire, chasing pleasures that vanish with the dawn, never realizing that they have sold eternal wealth for dust. The marketplace of the world is filled with such exchanges, bargains made in the shadows, where priceless treasure is given away for things that will rot and disappear. And yet every day the soul is placed on the scales of decision, weighed against the temptations that press in on all sides. To recognize the soul as treasure is to walk carefully, as one who carries something fragile yet beyond price. It means seeing beyond the surface of decisions, understanding that each choice either strengthens or diminishes the eternal life within you. It is not enough to think of decisions in terms of gain or loss in this world. The true question is always what they are doing to the soul. A choice that seems profitable in the eyes of men may bankrupt you in the sight of eternity. A choice that seems costly in the moment may enrich you forever. The worth of the soul demands that decisions be weighed not by the fleeting scale of comfort or success, but by the measure of truth, goodness, and faithfulness, and this treasure is not only precious to you, but to the one who made it. To him, your soul is of such value that no price was too high for its redemption. If the Creator himself declares it beyond compare, then what excuse remains for treating it as something common? Each decision you make, then, is not merely a personal matter, but a sacred trust. You are the guardian of what has been entrusted to you, a keeper of something eternal, and the weight of that responsibility presses into every moment of your life. To squander the soul is the greatest of all losses, and to guard it is the highest of all callings.